7 villages in Italy where you can buy a beautiful, move-in ready home from around 100,000 euros. Italy is often either overpriced or a full renovation trap, but every place in this video breaks that pattern. We're going from the sun-soaked heel of the boot all the way up to medieval hill towns in Umbria. And the last village? It honestly shouldn't exist at this price. Let's start where 100,000 euros goes the furthest. Property 1, and we're opening in Lecce, the Baroque capital of Puglia, a city that routinely stops people mid-street because the architecture is that beautiful. Lecce sits in the heart of the Salento Peninsula, deep in Italy's south, where the summers are long and dry, the winters are mild, and the local limestone, called Pietra Leccese, has been carved into some of the most ornate facades in the entire country. It's been called the Florence of the South. And once you see the cathedral square at golden hour, you'll understand why. The city has a real university, a working local economy, and an international airport at Brindisi, less than an hour away. 100,000 euros, about $115,000. That gets you a 1950s era detached house on the mezzanine floor, a short walk from the historic center, in a building that has been fully renovated. Floors, fixtures, bathroom, heating, air conditioning, all of it redone in recent years, and then furnished with custom-made furniture on top of that. Inside, an entrance hall, a living room, a kitchen, a chromotherapy shower bathroom, and a double bedroom. But the detail that makes this property is the star-shaped vaulted ceilings, a signature of Lecce's architectural tradition, and they're in every single room. This isn't a stripped-out flat with a coat of paint slapped on it. According to the listing, it's currently running as a guest house, appreciated by tourists and business travelers for its location and privacy. That means it's producing income as described, and it sits 800 meters from Porta Rudiae with actual parking nearby, which in a historic center is genuinely rare. And the best part is that at 100,000 euros, you're buying into one of the most visited cities in southern Italy, in a property that's not a project. It's a pied-à-terre that works from day one, for remote workers, for short-stay rental income, or just for having a beautiful Italian base. This is your entry point. But hold on, because Property 2 takes us somewhere completely different, out into the open Puglian countryside, and the format shifts entirely. Property 2, we're moving into the rural interior of Puglia now, into the quiet corridor between Oria and San Michele Salentino, where the landscape opens up into flat agricultural land, dotted with olive groves and dry stone walls. Francavilla Fontana is a Baroque market town of around 35,000 people, real services, real cafes, a weekly market, and a historic center with a palace and a basilica that most tourists never find. It's well connected without feeling like a resort, and that combination is increasingly rare at this price point in Puglia. 185,000 euros, around $213,000. For that, you get a fully refurbished villa on approximately 2,000 square meters of fenced land, just under half an acre, accessed via a rural track in a quiet, private setting. The house itself is 66 square meters, about 710 square feet, and according to the listing, it was fully refurbished in 2025 and holds habitation approval. That's the Agibilità certificate, which confirms it meets Italian habitability standards. The layout includes a front veranda, an open living and dining room with a fireplace, 2 bedrooms, a compact kitchen, and a shower room. PVC windows and inverter air conditioning are already installed. Step outside and there's a pergola, a second service bathroom, and a separate storage room with a traditional wood-fired oven. Water comes from an artesian well. Waste is managed via septic tanks, and 2 parking spaces are included. Furnishings may also be negotiated into the deal. The listing notes potential to explore adding a pool, subject to the usual technical and planning checks. And the best part is the location math. Francavilla Fontana is 5 minutes away, Oria 8, Brindisi Airport 25, which means you're genuinely connected to the rest of Europe without paying coastal premiums. For a holiday home that needs nothing doing to it, or a low-maintenance investment in a part of Puglia that still has room to grow, this is a solid property you can actually move into, as described. Now we're staying in Puglia, but moving deeper into the Salento countryside, because the next one opens up in a completely different way. Salento is the slender tip of the Italian heel, a flat, sun-baked peninsula where the Adriatic meets the Ionian, and the light in summer turns everything gold by 4 in the afternoon. Fig trees, Dry stone walls, the sea a short drive in either direction. The pace is slower here, the village is smaller, and the architecture carries that same exposed stone character you saw in Lecce, but quieter, more rural. Carpignano Salentino is a small town about 20 kilometers from the coast, and it's the kind of place where the bar on the square still costs €1 for an espresso. Property 3, 158,000 euros, roughly $182,000 for a detached house of approximately 115 square meters, or about 1,240 square feet in the heart of the village. The exterior opens through an arched porch, which already tells you this has character before you even step inside, and then the living room hits. 2 ancient rooms knocked together, star vaults in exposed stone, restored and lit specifically to show them off, with glossy floors that bounce the light back up, a kitchenette, a hallway to 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. According to the listing, this is ready to be inhabited, fully equipped with air conditioning and all systems. No major renovations. And the best part is out back, a 2-level private garden, part tiled terrace for outdoor dining, part open ground for planting. In a village setting, that garden is your breathing space, your summer living room, your small vegetable patch if you want it. For a family wanting a quiet Salento base with enough outdoor space to actually use, this is the one so far that gives you the full package, the architectural character, and the private outdoor life. But now we need to head a few kilometers north, closer to the Adriatic, because the next property changes the format entirely. Quick note on Puglia's coast before we go. The Adriatic shoreline around Brindisi and beyond runs clear and shallow, and the infrastructure has improved significantly. The airport at Brindisi connects to most major European cities, which matters if you're thinking about access or rental appeal. Keep that in mind as we go to Property 4. San Vito dei Normanni sits in the Valle di Tria corridor of central Puglia, a town of around 20,000 people with a real market, real services, and the kind of street life that reminds you why people moved to southern Italy in the first place. It's named after the Normans who passed through and left their mark on the architecture, and it carries that layered, lived-in quality that newer resort towns simply don't have. A real town, market, services, life, 3 kilometers from the center and 25 from Brindisi Airport. Property 4, 218,000 euros, approximately $238,000. Villa Oregano, and this is where the format shifts again, because now we're talking about a fully detached villa on 4,000 square meters of land. That's just under an acre. A gated, illuminated cobblestone driveway, a front veranda with a built-in sofa inside, a living room, a modern kitchen that opens onto a back veranda with a table and chairs, 2 double bedrooms, a bunk bedroom for guests or kids, and a bathroom with modern fittings, air conditioning installed, alarm system connected, double glazed windows throughout. According to the listing, it's ready to be inhabited. No guesswork there. The land is fenced on 2 sides and planted with olive trees and fruit trees. And the listing notes their scope to add a 40 square meter pool and an artesian well. You're also 15 kilometers from the Adriatic coast. And the best part is the combination: villa, land, airport proximity, and a real town on your doorstep, all under 220,000 euros. For a family relocating, or for someone who wants a properly private Italian rural life without being completely isolated, this is a different caliber of property. It's the new leader so far, but we haven't touched Umbria yet, and that's where things get genuinely interesting. Don't click away. Subscribe if you want the next regional breakdown. We're doing Sicily next, and the prices there are even harder to believe. The geography shifts now. We move from the flat, sun-drenched south up into the green hills of central Italy, and the whole mood changes. Umbria is Italy's only landlocked region, a place of forested ridges, river valleys, and medieval towns that look like they were designed by someone who wanted to make the rest of the world feel slightly inadequate. The climate is 4-season, warm summers, genuine winters, spectacular springs, and the landscape shifts from the golden dry tones of Puglia to something greener, softer, and cooler. Tuscany gets all the attention, and that's exactly why Umbria still has deals. Property 5, 250,000 euros, around $288,000. A farmhouse of approximately 230 square meters, about 2,475 square feet, near Orvieto, in the municipality of Montecchio. 2 levels, accessible directly from the public road. Upstairs, a large entrance hall, 3 bedrooms, a kitchen, a living room with a balcony, and a bathroom, all with views across the Umbrian Valley that the listing describes as endless and green. Downstairs, a garage with a driveway, laundry room, large bathroom, storage, cellar, and a boiler room, connected to all utilities and described as ready to occupy immediately. Outside, approximately 1,400 square meters of land, roughly 15,000 square feet, with olive trees, ornamental plants, and garden space. And part of that land is described as buildable, meaning you could potentially add a pool or an outbuilding, subject to local planning. The exterior is partly stone, partly plastered, rustic, but functional, not a ruin. And the best part is the Orvieto proximity, one of the most beautiful small cities in Italy, with a cathedral that makes people stop and stare, restaurants, a train connection to Rome, and a quality of life that draws international buyers at much higher prices a few kilometers in every direction. At $250 for 230 square meters with land and views, this is Umbria before the world fully catches on. Ideal for a family relocation, a remote work base, or a tourism project. But now here's the mid-video twist, because the next 2 properties are also priced at 250,000 euros, and what you get for the same money is completely different. Property 6, still 250,000 euros, but now we're inside a medieval castle. Colombono is a hilltop village in the municipality of Gubbio, a settlement that traces its origins back to the 11th century, when it functioned as a fortified outpost. The castrum Collis Palumbi, contested over centuries by Gubbio, Assisi, and later the Duchy of Urbino. The village sits above the Spacious River Valley, with the kind of panoramic position that medieval builders chose deliberately, and it still carries that atmosphere of compressed, layered history. The property is a portion of the ancient castle itself, approximately 250 square meters, around 2,690 square feet across 3 floors. Ground floor, a rustic living room with granite floors, a wet bar, a kitchen, bathroom, and storage, designed according to the listing for entertaining. First floor, a bright living room, a dining kitchen, 2 double bedrooms, an ensuite bathroom, and a second bathroom. Upper floor, a study, storage room, and another bathroom, private garden of approximately 150 square meters, rare in a historic village center, and a terrace on the 3rd floor with valley views. The stone facade is original. The fixtures are described as in excellent condition, and the floors vary by level, granite below, single-fired tile in the main rooms, parquet in the bedrooms. It's not a museum, it's real life. 3 floors of livable, layered space inside a building that is genuinely historic. According to the listing, the multi-level layout and double entrance make it flexible for a primary home, a second home, or a hosting arrangement. And the best part is that Gubbio itself, the nearby medieval city, is one of the most intact in all of Italy, with an atmosphere that draws visitors year-round and a community that still functions as a real town, not a tourist set. For someone who wants the authentic Italian village life inside actual history, this is a completely different proposition than anything we've seen so far. But we still have 2 more, and the next one brings us back to the south with a twist that changes what 250,000 euros means in Puglia. Comment below, which one are you picking so far? Because the last 2 are the strongest, and I think one of them is going to surprise you. Property 7, Ostuni, the White City. Ostuni crowns a hilltop in the Valle di Tria, its whitewashed old town visible for kilometers across the olive groves, with the Adriatic coast less than 10 kilometers to the east, and Brindisi Airport reachable in under half an hour. The streets are narrow, stacked, and photogenic in a way that draws visitors from across Europe every summer, and yet the surrounding countryside remains genuinely agricultural, quiet, and unhurried. 250,000 euros, about $288,000. But here's what the money gets you in Ostuni that it doesn't get you in Gubbio or Umbria: approximately 7,000 square meters of land. That's just roughly 75,000 square feet. The property itself is approximately 105 square meters renovated, ground floor in Contrada Solari, a private, quiet setting outside the town, air conditioning installed, described as immediately ready for occupancy, and the layout is the twist. The property is divided into 3 apartments, 2 of which are interconnected, so you can live in part of it, rent out the rest, or run it as a small tourism operation. The infrastructure for that is already there, according to the listing. Outside, That 7,000 square meter plot offers the scope to add a pool, and in the Ostuni tourist rental market, a pool on that land would significantly change the income profile of the property. And the best part is the location. Ostuni is not a secret, which means the short-term rental demand is real and documented, and the White City aesthetic photographs beautifully, which matters if you're thinking about platforms like Airbnb. For an investor, for a family that wants to offset costs by renting, or for someone who genuinely wants land and space in one of Puglia's most loved towns, this is the most strategically interesting property in the whole list. But we've saved the final one for last, and it's the one that makes you do a double take at the price. 5 kilometers outside Gubbio. Property 8, 250,000 euros, the same price as the castle, the same price as the Ostuni land, the same price as the Umbrian farmhouse. But what you're getting here is a recently built 220 square meter, about 2,370 square feet, detached home with a private pool, built in the early 2000s, reinforced concrete and earthquake proof, with a quality of finish that the listing describes as modern and complete. Ground floor, entrance hall, guest bathroom, laundry room, a large bright living room with a fireplace, a fitted kitchen with a second fireplace that opens onto the outdoor space, and a garage, first floor, a second living room with terrace access, 2 bedrooms, both en suite. The master bedroom has custom furnishings, a private terrace, and a bathroom with a whirlpool tub and shower. Second floor, a bonus room currently used as an attic with its own bathroom, underfloor heating throughout, central vacuum system, double glazed wooden window frames. The garden has a lighting system, an irrigation system, and a recently renovated private pool. A covered veranda connects the interior to the outdoor living space. According to the listing, this property is ready to be moved into without the need for renovations. Those are the listing's own words. No major renovations at 250,000 euros, around $288,000. This is a fully spec'd modern Italian home with a pool, multiple terraces, and 2 fireplaces. Outside, a medieval city that has one of the most intact historic centers in Umbria. It's not a fixer-upper. It's not a compromise. It's the kind of property that, if it were outside a Tuscan hill town with a wine estate on the label, would be listed at twice the price without a second thought. And the best part is that Gubbio is real. Restaurants, festivals, community, a functioning Italian life. And 5 kilometers from the center means you're close without paying the premium. For someone who wants to move to Italy and actually arrive somewhere finished, somewhere livable, somewhere with a pool already waiting, this is the one. So here's how I'd sort it. Best for the Adriatic coastal life and investment income. The Ostuni property, land, flexibility, and location in one package. Best for the authentic medieval Italy fantasy. The Gubbio Castle and Colombono. Nothing else on this list gives you that. Most turnkey in the south, Villa Oregano in San Vito dei Normanni. Villa, land, airport access, ready to live in as described, and best overall value for someone moving to Italy to actually settle in. Property 8 outside Gubbio. Modern, complete, pool included, and at a price that shouldn't be possible for what it delivers. Always verify documents, fees, and current status directly. Everything here reflects the listings as selected at the time. Now I want to know, which one would you actually pick? Drop it in the comments. And if any of these made you look twice at Italy in a way you weren't expecting, subscribe, because the next region we're covering has prices that make this list look expensive.